All right. Welcome back to Sofa Survivors.
Episode 2.
Season 1, Episode 2. This episode's called The Generation Gap.
The Generation Gap.
And I would say it is properly named.
I think it was obviously edited to fit the name to some regard, but I get it.
Oh, yeah.
I got it.
No doubt. I'm Tom Sofa.
Loud feet.
Yeah, they're
Heavy
walking.
feet.
I'm Tom Sofa.
I'm Mike Tomato.
And we are still Sofa Survivors. And for those watching the YouTube and those listening, grab your buff. Grab
What
your
the fuck
buff.
is that?
That's a Survivor buff. Okay.
Why do you have one?
Because I'm a legit Survivor fan, unlike you.
You're
Okay.
right.
So grab your fucking buff.
Where did you get that?
I got it on Amazon.
Jeffrey.com?
Amazon, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you wear it?
No, I actually, for Halloween this past year, I played in a volleyball tournament where me and Kayla were Survivor contestants.
Okay.
As our theme, so.
Got it. That makes sense.
But I was happy to buy this buff.
So is it just like a gator?
Proud to buy this
It's just
buff.
like a gator?
Yeah, it's a buff. BUFF. That's the brand. It's a buff.
The brand is buff.
The brand is BUFF, correct.
Okay. And why are there rats on it?
This is like the actual buff. See, buff, BUFF. This is the actual one, like exact style that they wore in the 47th season, the most recent season.
Okay. So real brand.
Yeah, real. It's
Real
legit.
shit.
Yeah, it's not fake.
Wow.
It's not fake. Anyhow,
Name brand.
so we're here. Grab your buff.
Grab your buff.
And I just want to kind of recap some stuff before we get into this. So
Please.
as per Mike Tomato,
That's me.
he thinks in this episode that Kelly is next to go,
Right.
or Greg,
Yep.
who I believe we might have put down Brad last week. I don't know how we made that mistake, but I had Brad written down, and then I realized it was Greg today, and then I changed it.
He
I don't know.
could be Brad though.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I mean, it's just another white guy from an
Insert what?
Ivy League grad.
yeah. Insert white guy.
He
here.
looked like a Brad. I guess he's a Greg, but whatever. Anyhow, so Mike
Semantics.
thought last episode, at the end of last episode, that next to go would be Kelly or Greg, and Mike thinks that Susan is the clear-cut winner
I still think Susan
as of episode 1. Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, I still give it to Susan.
There are 15 people left, and as a reminder, Sonia is gone. Bless her heart.
Our queen.
Bless her heart.
I miss Sonia already.
So it is what it is.
I miss her and her guitar.
So I just want to start with a quote from Rudy, and it's just, I don't even know what MTV is. Was just his quote.
Right.
Didn't know what MTV was. So that's that old generation.
Which this was in 2000, and by that time MTV had been out for maybe 20 years.
Yeah, it was at a hype. It was at a big time. People knew about it.
Yeah, it was, I believe, like the 90s was MTV's renaissance.
Yeah. So weird thing to say, but anyway,
He's a Navy SEAL.
Oh yeah, he's a SEAL. They're figuring out. They're trying to catch some food.
Right, that was the first thing that I noticed. So they started out with food, and it was rats. Big into cooking rats. Rudy was refusing to eat rats.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I'm going to eat all the fruit first," and I haven't gotten to that point. And I was like, "Dude, you're a Navy SEAL, and you're telling me that you can't survive? Like you're too squeamish to eat a rat?
Oh yeah.
Like what kind of pussy Navy SEAL? You are a Navy otter."
Both Rudy and Richard are anti-eating rat. That's something I
That's
noted.
something
they got together and they were like, we don't want to eat fucking rats.
They bonded over that. I will say,
which is fine. And then Stacy and Richard went off to fish.
Yep.
Richard mentioned that fish are stupid,
but smarter than Rich.
Yes, can't. Richard's not smart enough to catch one though.
No, I think this episode was very much the season or the episode of both tribes suck at fishing.
Yeah, fishing's tough.
It can be, but I just don't.
When you don't have an actual rod, and you don't have like things.
Well, what's his face made like the super stick or whatever.
We'll get around to it.
But either way, like both of these teams epically failed at fishing.
Yeah,
and I feel like maybe they're just on a bad island for fishing. That's also a possibility.
Totally.
Or they're just not very, I don't know, fish savvy.
Right. And then I notated at this point that Kelly is getting tired of Rudy, just frustrated with him.
Yeah, sick of Rudy.
And at this point of the episode, I mean, I've been I'm going to start and continue to like note at what point of the episode I think that person could be going home. So at this point of the episode, I was like, this could be Rudy. He's going home because like a lot of people don't seem happy with him. I believe that he also was. I don't believe I know he was overeating. He was like eating when people, he was opening up cans of stuff and eating when he wasn't supposed to.
Very undemocratic process.
Very my energy is more important than yours.
Yes.
Vibe. And that's just not the fact with the old guy. Like it's just not.
And I kind of figured just based on the name of this episode that it was going to be like old versus younger. So either like one of the older people was going to go or one of the younger people was going to go. It definitely just kind of primed itself for that.
Yeah, I just expected like a good chunk of friction.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
Yeah, between the old and the young.
Totally. Then we come over to the Pagong tribe where BB has everybody working hard. And there are a couple people that are pretty happy. Like it like they seem satisfied working hard. And then there are a couple people who are, tired of it, not having it. One of the people who just, isn't just a hard worker for the tribe, not saying that this person's not a hard worker in general, is Ramona. On top of that, she's not eating.
Yeah, she's sick. Sick as a dog.
And then at that point I thought, maybe Ramona's going to go home.
It was definitely looking
Ramona
way. But I did get a sense that like most of the Pagong tribe was getting sick of BB shit.
Totally. So there are 8 people though, right? So there are 8 people. So in order for him to be gone, 5 of those people need to decide that he's not worth keeping around. And in my opinion, he's been a little bit annoying, but like he shouldn't be first to go. We're gonna get further into it because there is more that happens.
But there was a vibe of like even Gretchen was kind of like getting annoyed with Rudy a little bit.
A little bit, I think,
especially about where the placement of their shelter was.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, totally. Ramona couldn't handle papaya.
No,
which I think is crazy. Like I get that it's not that delicious of a fruit. I guess it's not like.
It's not a bad fruit by any means.
But it's not that delicious, honestly. Some people it just tastes bad to people, which I get. But
homegirl was gagging.
Girl, you're literally gonna die. Like you got to eat something.
Like walking off into the distance and vomiting.
And she's like, I'll just drink more water. And like that is not the solution.
No,
you're gonna just throw it up.
But you should stay hydrated. By any
but you got to have salt. You got to have some other things.
Yeah, you need electrolytes or something.
Anyway, so that kind of told me that Ramona might be going soon.
I did appreciate the moment where she was like, I can't eat this, somebody else eat it. So she's not wasteful.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, that's the right thing to do. And then we go back to the Tagi tribe here, and then it becomes clear that Richard is gay.
Richard is so gay.
He's a gay boy.
And so I think I said this on episode 1 of on here, but correct me and we'll check the record or whatever.
Sorry, we got the record.
But so when he voted for Stacy, just because
for reasons that he can't even
I loved that because that was so gay.
Yeah, I loved it just because it was just
petty. That is so gay, which is gay.
Yeah,
gay and petty might as well be the same word. And when they were describing like him and like or I think it was Rudy was just like, yeah, he's a queer. And I was just like, there was a moment where I did get a little triggered though, when I don't know who said it. Some white bitch in the group was like, Rich was describing, being gay, and they were debating the vernacular homosexual versus gay. And they're like, oh, we don't want to call you homosexual, but it's like, that's exactly what he is.
I think I wrote down the quote.
Oh, where
I think I wrote down the quote. So, well, hold on. First, one of the things that I noted that I thought was interesting of Richard to say, but it's 25 years ago now. Richard says that he doesn't think Rudy would like that he's gay. He thinks that he wouldn't be
Sure.
able to accept it, which is a fair thing to say for sure. At
And
the
Rudy
time,
kind of alluded to that anyway.
and then Rudy's quote, which I thought was kind of funny. He goes, "The homosexual, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met."
Right.
And I thought that was hilarious. And I thought that it was like,
Because we're supposed to be gutted, rotted.
yeah, I don't know why that would be
Abrasive.
fact, but it was just kind of funny. You know, I thought it was a little silly that he would say that. And then I thought it was also silly when he was just like, "I don't know what my friends are going to say back home."
Exactly.
Type of thing.
That's the homophobia coming out.
And that was coming out. But then he was like, "But I don't care. I'll deal with it." And
Right.
I was like, there you go. Like you're growing.
I'll accept that, like, Rudy, maybe it's his military background, because there's gays in the military,
For sure.
undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just his kind of mentality of like, I'm going to focus on the challenge, the task, or the mission. And I don't really give a fuck who this person likes, as long as he can help me complete the mission,
Right.
win the task, or whatever. And I think he sees Rich as somebody that can do that.
Totally.
But one of the things that I got a little triggered on was, I don't know who said it, but they were like, they referred to it as a lifestyle.
I have that written down right here. It's a lifestyle in quotes.
And I wrote in my little notes, lifestyle triggered.
For real. And Richard was like, he was like,
It's not a lifestyle.
yeah, he was like, no,
It's not a lifestyle,
yeah.
babes.
That was a ridiculous comment.
And I guess, like, this is 2000, so there was like a moment in the 90s where queer culture and being gay was like now kind of entering the zeitgeist. It was kind of becoming like, we can't really hide gay people. Gay rights was kind of having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of like in the emergence of like RuPaul, Lady Bunny, like these kind of queer icons.
Right.
And I'm not shocked that this like made an appearance in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did think that this was not as like intensely homophobic as I was expecting it to be.
Oh, there are seasons later where like there's just more homophobic.
And I like, is the Jesus Freak? He's on the other team.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
that is Joel, I believe, the
Yeah.
health club consultant, which I believe we're gonna learn a little bit more about next week.
Yes, he has a moment of proselytization, I believe.
So anywho, one of the things that Rudy said, which I thought was another quote. There were a lot of just like dumb quotes that I thought were worth just bringing up. Not that they're good quotes or anything, just quotes. Rudy said, "Me and Richard got to be good friends. Not in a homosexual way." That's for sure.
Like that, yeah.
That was brutal.
As they cut to him like rubbing sunscreen on him.
And he's rubbing sunscreen on Rudy's back in a way that's a little bit sensual.
It was great. I appreciate it. Good editing.
It was just excellently done. Hilarious. So definitely worth mentioning that. After that, we go back over to the Pagong tribe. Jervis quotes, "If you're not working harder than BB, then you're not working hard enough."
And that seems to be the vibe over there.
That is 100% the vibe. And I think that's ridiculous.
And I also agree that it's ridiculous, because BB, I don't know, like, if maybe that's genuinely who he is, but it's kind of insane. And maybe he just needs to be that person. It's like, so he has kind of room to complain,
Right.
or something. Like, he needs to be that it person in the group or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then he acts incredibly selfish when he bathes or like when he washes his clothes in the rice water.
That was crazy. In the rice pot.
In the rice pot.
With the fresh water.
With the fresh water.
That was bananas to me. And then what was bananas to me was shortly after that, he had a different shirt on.
Yes.
He just was like, the shirt that I just cleaned, I'm not wearing.
So it's like BB, he'll do whatever he wants for himself, and then he gets pissed off when other people aren't doing things for the tribe.
Totally.
So it's like, why are you having your cake and eating it too, BB? Like, what is this?
For sure. So, then there's a little moment with like Colleen and Greg, little something going on between the young bucks.
So I wrote in my notes, Greg and Colleen fucking in the woods.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think maybe.
I think it's possible, but Colleen said like 5 times in like 2 sentences about how Greg's a good friend. She said it like 5 times in 2 sentences, which I thought was funny that she
I'm
was
not
like
convinced.
trying to verbally friend zone, but I am also not convinced. Did you see her throw down some larva? That girl can eat.
That girl eats down, mama.
Anywho, they play a little nightly newlywed Survivor game.
I thought
which
that was cute.
I thought was cute, and I thought it was a very original thing to do. And I think that you got to entertain yourselves out there, and that's a hilarious little something to do.
And I think it kind of shows like decent personalities, where it really kind of Greg was shining through in that moment as kind of the jokester, the levity within the tribe. The man's got a wit on him. I can see why Colleen might be like, what you got going under those board shorts, buddy?
Yeah.
So I'm into it.
Totally. And then so this is kind of off topic, but it's also a very Survivor topic. I'm going to generally not talk about how I feel like the tribal stuff that they do sometimes is a little bit offensive, but I just think it is. Like they were like painting the face a little bit.
I agree. Yeah.
And I just thought that was just a little bit offensive. I think that it's important to just bring up that it's offensive. And it sucks, but we're just going to move past it. But I just think it's important to bring up. Anywho, let's move on. It's nighttime over there. There's so many rats. There's a huge snake.
I'm surprised. Okay. So, Jeff made a comment that before the tribe that lost was going to council,
right?
That
tribal,
whatever the council, whatever the fuck. And he like gave him a warning that it's like, okay, be careful because there's a lot of snakes. So I was like, why don't you guys eat the snakes?
I don't know. Are snakes good to eat?
Yeah.
Some of them are poisonous. How do you know?
Not the meat.
Not poisonous. You don't think there's poison in there?
No.
Huh.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
The poison's only in the venom.
Yeah, venom, yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky situation. I'm not sure.
And technically snakes aren't poisonous, they're venomous.
I hear you.
Different vernacular. So eat the snakes. That's what I would do. I was like, how hard it's probably easy to catch a snake. Use a rat to catch a snake. Eat the snake.
I agree.
Yeah. But put me on Survivor.
I think by the end of season, I think that if you don't get, I don't know, 3 or 4 guesses right, who gets voted out throughout the season, you got to send in a tape.
Okay, fine. Deal. Deal. I don't care. Deal.
Something to think about. So then we got morning comes and the tide is coming a little too far. That's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. And BB wanted the sleeping quarters to kind of be like on the beach, while Gretchen wanted the sleeping quarters to be a little bit more towards the jungle. And it's either BB's way or the highway kind of thing. So that's what they landed on, which, you know what? BB did a lot of the work and a lot of the constructing and a lot of this and a lot of that. So I kind of think that his say carries a little bit of weight. A little bit. Not a lot. Not all of it. It's a team thing.
And I think it was Jarvis made a comment which just like, we're not going to try and fight with BB. Like, we're just going to let BB and we'll just kind of go with it.
Totally. So they move a huge log that they're trying to, in order to block the waves from hitting the sleeping area. And Joel is constantly being told that he's wrong by BB. Anything that Joel says, if, sky's blue, suddenly it's not. And I agree that BB was consistently just being frustrated and disagreeing with people. So
yeah, I think he needs an excuse to be mad at people. I think that's just like his personality.
I think he's deflecting. He's trying to get the spotlight off him by putting the spotlight on somebody else, or
But by doing that, the spotlight goes back on him, and so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It was dumb.
Totally. Then we go back to the Tagi tribe, and Sean is trying to catch a fish, and he struggles.
Yeah, so I wrote nipple in parentheses Sean
determined
right. to catch a fish, failed.
He did 0 fish all day, and I thought it was hilarious. I believe it was maybe Kelly or Susan or Stacy one of the three, maybe it was Stacy, was talking to Sean, and Sean was just like, I think it's worth doing. And Stacy was like, I don't think it's worth doing if you don't catch any fish.
Right.
And I tend to agree with Stacy.
I agree
think
with
that if
Stacey.
you catch 0 fish, I would say that's a waste of time. I think that the principle, maybe not a waste, but in actual time, it's a waste.
And he tried to like MacGyver some like legitimate fishing rod.
It looked kind of cool.
I mean, it looked like he put a lot of effort into it. I think his medical degree really shone through on this. What did he call it? The ultimate
Fishing stick or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And
should have wrote it down. Missed that one.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't even matter because I didn't catch anything.
Yeah.
But he's out there trying too hard for literally nothing.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just said, Nipple, you need to stop.
Too true. Shawnee McNipple, we'll call him. Then we go back to the Tagi tribe. It was just a brief stint with Tagi. We go back to Pagong. And this is when BB washes his clothes in the cooking pot and uses the fresh water, which we already talked about briefly.
I would be pissed too.
Absolutely. Are you kidding
bullshit.
me? And all of the reasons that they gave as to why he shouldn't have done that were so legitimate.
Absolutely.
It was too late to go get more fresh water. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I'll do it. And they're like, no, you're wasting energy doing that. We need that energy for the possible challenge coming up. They don't know that it's going to be a different challenge than that doesn't necessarily take a ton of energy, but it doesn't matter. That they're there for survival.
Right, you got to be prepared for whatever happens. And it was raining, I believe, too, at the same time.
Rain was coming for sure. So yeah, Jarvis and Joel, they confronted him about it. He was just deflecting. He says, oh, I worked the hardest, meaning that he could do whatever the hell he wants, which at this point, I disagree. The rest of the tribe made it clear that they would prefer to vote before doing anything with supplies. Anything. It doesn't matter what it is. You put it to a vote. You don't like it. And I think that it really is that simple.
It sounds like the Tagi tribe needs Richard's communication skills.
You think the Pagong tribe
or the Pagong tribe
needs Richard over there for a little bit?
Yeah, they need his corporate communication.
Agreed. It's a shame that spoilers, because if you're watching this episode, you already watched. If you're listening to this podcast episode, you should have already watched the show. So you're going to know that BB is going to go home at the end of this episode.
Eliminated.
So it's a shame that BB's not going to have the chance to get with Richard in like a merge situation.
And learn some communication skills. Is that a thing in Survivor? Like swapping tribes?
Yeah, the merge.
Oh, that's a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to it. So yeah, that's what's going on with Pagong. And then we come back to Tagi and they get some tree mail. We love tree mail. It means there's something going on.
Tyra mail.
They get info that they're doing the Starving Survivor buffet, which is perfect because they are starving. Everybody is struggling to get food. They've gotten a crab here, a crab there, and a rat here and a rat there, but
that's about it.
That would really cut it for me. I'd be looking for something else. A little papaya.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wrote in my notes that it's just called buffet bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that was not a buffet by any means of the word as to what they got. Mm-mm. And also, this is probably like where my grievance with this potential season is coming in. These challenges kind of suck.
Oh, yeah. I wrote that down on the next part here. I also thought it was important to note that Ramona said, I'll swallow anything.
The girl won't eat a papaya.
She wouldn't eat a papaya, but she'll swallow anything and claims it's for immunity. So that's why she'll do it, which
I guess respect.
BB would consider losing to vote someone off, which I thought was an interesting strategy for somebody who I feel like is on the hot seat.
But he's delusional, so he doesn't recognize that he's delusional. On the hot seat. He thinks that he's God's gift to the tribe.
Yeah, and everybody else is like, no, dude, we want to fucking win. You're stupid.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, and then we come to the challenge of Starving Survivor buffet.
Yep.
Which lame challenge. I'm just gonna say it was
lame.
It was disappointing.
It was giving Fear Factor and not even like a good Fear Factor spinoff.
Everybody sits around a long table. Everybody must eat a beetle larva, which is just so gross and worm-like, and it's crawling.
The way it
all
was moving
around.
was nasty.
It was nasty.
It was nasty.
Everyone was freaking out, and I for sure would have been just freaking the fuck out.
I would have too.
But everybody threw it down.
Everybody did it. Like
everybody
it was
did
nobody's business.
Ramona took care of it, and it was almost like the Survivor producers were just like
shocked.
They're like, "Oh my god, nobody failed. What do we do?"
And I think they made up the tiebreaker on the fly.
Yeah, and Jeff was like, "All right, we're gonna have two people race to eat too. Pick whoever's the most squeamish."
Yeah.
And I must say, Jervis, when he ate the first one, I laughed out loud because he was very just animated and funny.
Oh, he was going through it.
So I did appreciate that.
He was slapping his head, licking it. He would like touch it and lick his fingers.
Totally.
He was really trying to get into the headspace.
Oh yeah. So then we went, the two people that were picked to eat the two beetles because Jarvis was so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
He was chosen to eat the two beetles, and so was Stacy. And I gotta say, man, I don't know. I feel like Stacy, I might have picked, even though she won, I might have picked somebody else. I might have picked the neurologist. I might Nipple. I might have picked Richard. I might have picked somebody else. But I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Stacy, she ate.
She dominated.
She ate it down, mama.
Yeah, crushed it. She ate those two things so fast. Jarvis lost. And then, I noted lame challenge. It's a good idea. They do things similar to this in the future seasons, but they do give it more. They do. And so it was just disappointing. It was just bad. Bad.
But maybe for 2000, like that was like, whoa, but maybe we've just experienced so much content in our lives already.
Yeah.
And like we've seen Fear Factor and all this kind of other shit where maybe in 2000, like eating beetle larva was like, holy fuck. But in today's terms, it was lame as fuck.
For sure. Well, I will say that it just wasn't enough, but
it wasn't enough. It was too short. It was not consequential to the characters, to the dynamic of the show.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
So then they go back. The Pagong tribe is the one who has to have somebody voted off, and it seems to be kind of a split between BB or Ramona at this point to me.
Yeah.
I felt like I was kind of rooting for Ramona just because of how hard that BB was trying, but BB was talking about how like it's his time, and like anytime that somebody says that they don't want to be somewhere, like that is fine, like I'm gonna vote you off. You're gone.
No, those are the
stupid.
It's the kiss of death in every reality show.
Every single one.
Every time somebody says, I don't want to be here anymore, like they already start packing up their bags or whatever, they literally leave that same episode.
Totally.
I've never seen it on any other, like happen on a reality show where somebody says that or does that and then doesn't leave.
For sure. So,
I did think it was fascinating that in the tribal that they didn't show everybody's vote. They only showed us 4 votes in total. Between 2 for BB, 2 for Ramona, and then it was like a surprise as Jeff was reading.
But they show all the votes in the credits.
Yeah, no, like so they showed. So like what I'm saying is like when they write their name, when they write who they're voting for,
they say stuff.
We didn't get everybody.
True. Yeah.
Flashing.
Not
and,
everybody
and
says
saying
stuff.
A thing.
Not everybody says stuff. They just go up and write. Sometimes.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes they just don't have anything to say.
I think that should be in their contract.
Okay. Something to think about. Tribal comes and this is when everybody grabs their torch because as we know on this island, the torch represents life.
Fire represents life.
And the torch. All of it together. They kind of talk a little bit about what's going on, and Jarvis blames himself for the loss, which I thought was just ridiculous. Like, you got to just eat 2 larvas fast. Like, dude, you lost probably by a second. And
Right,
like,
I mean,
what you just chewed too slow? Like, chill out.
Stacy's just got a better throat game. It's not your fault.
That's a fact. So I thought it was weird that Jarvis thought that he was the reason
I think
for
he
the
just
loss.
needed to say something.
Unfair challenge. He just should have been. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was strange.
I
that
thought
he
it was
said that.
inconsequential. I was like, whatever, dude. You're not getting voted off.
Yeah, Gretchen was too focused on the bond. Not surprised. She's a pre-K teacher. It's all about the bond with teachers like that, which I get. Right. Bonds are important.
Yeah, they matter.
One thing that I didn't notice in the first episode that I very well noticed because Jeff pointed it out, there's an actual chest with probably fake money in it at Tribal.
I did not notice this.
Next week, when we come together to do this again, and you watch the episode and they go to Tribal, there is an actual chest on the other side with fake money in it, or maybe real fake money. And he's like, isn't that enough for you to want to work for? And he like pointed at it. No, that's not the exact words that he said, but he pointed at it and was like,
and alluded to that.
Alluded to it. Yeah, okay, which I thought was bananas.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, I was surprised. Okay. Very surprised. So that's something for the hardcore Survivor fan to consider.
Motivate the tribes. Like $1 million. Like I said in the first episode, $1 million in 2000 is a lot of money.
It's a ton.
I mean, even now, $1 million, like I would be happy with $1 million. Don't get me wrong.
Happy with $500,000.
But that's like, I should do the inflation calculator just to see like what $1 million in 2000 is to today.
You should. So anyways, the votes come in and BB gets 5 votes. Ramona only gets 2, and then they don't show the final vote. It doesn't really matter. And I just noted how serious Jeff reads the votes.
I know.
I feel like as the show progresses, Jeff kind of reads them in a less serious manner, but I felt like he was very straight faced. He was like, and 1 BB. And it was just very intense. But all in all, I thought that it was a solid episode. I thought that Richard and Rudy and that side, the Tagi tribe, was pretty solid and fun. I thought that, BB should go home, honestly, because he said he wanted to go, and that's just
it's way less than I thought.
How little?
So according to usinflationcalculator.com,
okay,
if you had $1 million in 2000, that is 1.8 million today.
Really?
Yeah.
You almost double your money.
I mean, that's still a lot.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's not bad. But even though like with inflation, but at that time, $1 still gets you further.
Yes.
So like you like it
like things were less expensive.
Exactly. My point. Anyhow, good show, good episode. I'm excited to see where it goes.
I want more. Like, I mean, again, it's probably because I've been spoiled with like all the reality TV and content that exists today.
Right.
But I'm like, I need more from this. I need more drama. I need the challenges to be more difficult. I need somebody to cry on television. I need a mental breakdown.
Right.
And maybe, I mean, we're only 2 episodes in, and maybe we'll get that later in the season. But I'm looking for some real like emotional ache. I want somebody to cry on camera being like, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want.
Not sure if that'll happen in this season, but it surely happens in other seasons. I think that it's a little early. Well, I mean, like the drama, like Ramona getting sick, it's still, that's like close.
Yeah, but nobody's crying yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, nobody's crying yet.
It'll happen.
And then I also want like night cam footage of Colleen and Greg sneaking off into the woods.
Oh, yeah. That I don't think they get night cam till later seasons, I think. But okay. Maybe. I'm not sure. So this is the part of the episode, Mike, where we're going to figure out who you think is going to go home next.
Amazing.
And do you still think Susan is the clear-cut winner.
I still want to give it to my Lady Sue.
Okay.
I'm still going to give Susan the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
I think my truck driving Wisconsin queen is really going to come through in the end.
Okay.
I think she's got a great heart and a great mind for the game.
Okay. And so BB went home, as we've said about 1,000 times.
BB's gone. Like my instincts would say like maybe Rudy next, but since we already lost an old guy, I don't think Rudy's going to go.
Okay. On the Tagi tribe, then, who do you think's going to go? We got Sean. So last week you thought Kelly was going to go. So if Tagi gets voted off, do you still think Kelly? There is one. I'm gonna hit us here. We got Sean, the neurologist.
Nipple
bad fisher.
Yeah.
We got Kelly, the river guide. We got Rudy, who we all know and love. We got Richard, who's growing on everybody. We got Susan, who can't go home because she's your winner.
Correct.
We got Dirk, the dairy farmer, who we just got to learn more about.
Yeah, we don't know anything about Dirk.
And we got Stacy, who can throw back some larvae.
Stacy's got throat.
Yeah.
So I think Nipple's gonna go.
You think Nipple?
Yeah, because I think him wasting time with fishing and all that shit, it might just bother people.
Okay. I noted that here on my sheet. And come my notes for next week, I will note that that's your pick, and we'll see if you're right or wrong. Now, you also have to go for Pagong, because there's no guarantee that somebody from Tagi. So with Pagong, we have Jarvis, who's that basketball coach at the YMCA. We've got Colleen, the advertising student, who's hooking up with Greg, the Ivy League grad.
Yeah.
We got Ramona, the biochemist, who is sick but getting healthier.
Right.
Gretchen, the pre-K teacher, who loves to bond. And Jenna, the single mom. And then Joel,
who works 2 jobs and never stops.
Yep. And then Joel, the health club consultant, who is a Jesus freak.
So based on the little clip I got, like at the end of this episode, where they really kind of blasted Joel for being too much Jesus.
Totally.
I'm gonna say Joel goes.
I think that's a fair guess,
because I would also be annoyed if every waking minute I was told the beauty and bounty of Jesus Christ is just waiting at the gates of heaven for me, and I don't need that. I need fish if I'm stranded on an island. Go hunt me, go get me a Satan in the woods. Snake. It's a Bible joke.
I think you're onto something. Last week, I think that either Kelly or Dirk from Tagi next week.
Okay.
I think Kelly or Dirk. Dirk just based on name alone.
Right. Also, since he already has seemed to be a non-consequential person in the show.
Yeah.
So like, just axe him.
Easy. And then Pagong, I think Joel is a solid choice. I think Gretchen, I'm gonna just say it right now. Gretchen is my dark horse. Yeah.
I'm shocked by that. I think everybody seems to like Gretchen. No,
not to go home. To win.
Oh, to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking Gretchen. You're taking Susan right now. We each got a pony.
Ladies, I want the ladies to win.
Dude.
But this is also 2000, so it might be a man's game.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who.
But I still want Susan.
But I'm going Gretchen right now. It probably will change, but I think it'll either be Joel or I think Ramona is going to stay on the hot seat.
I could see that. I was thinking that Ramona could stay on the hot seat, but maybe next week it's a puzzle challenge and Ramona's biochemistry really shows through.
I think that. Oh, and another thing that I wanted to mention. BB, the 2 people. BB, he said that he wanted Jarvis to go home, right? Jarvis or Ramona, right?
I don't remember if he said Jarvis.
Or did he say Joel and Ramona?
I don't remember.
Oh, never mind.
But if he did say Jarvis and Ramona, I was like, are we being racist,
That's
BB?
exactly what I thought, because I'm almost certain that's what he did. And
yeah.
He was like, these are the 2 people I want to go. And I was like, oh my God, that's like, what the fuck?
Because Jarvis lost the challenge and then Ramona's not pulling her weight or whatever?
Perhaps, but like, come on, that's uncanny.
BB.
But
why we racist, BB?
But I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. I did have that thought though, and I did think that he said that. So yeah, I think Ramona's kind of like attitude here and there is going to put somebody else off, and then that is going to spread to a couple other people just on word alone,
I think if
and it's going
Ramona,
to get her out of the game.
I think if she continues to be sick and not help with like the chores of the tribe, then like inevitably she's gonna grind some gears with people like, you're not pulling your weight. We're doing all of this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're dead weight.
Totally.
We're gonna have to cut you off.
It'll be interesting to see how the Pogong tribe, if they like get as much done or even like half as much done without BB.
Yeah, I will see, or maybe it'll just everything will be better because they can move their shelter to where it needs to be.
I doubt they're even going to do that though.
No, because it's a lot, like to move all of
Yeah.
that.
And thanks to BB, it's dope.
I don't know. I guess we'll find
setup.
out. We'll find
Yeah,
out what
okay.
happens.
Well, that's what I got, you guys. You got anything else, man?
No.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Sofa Survivors Season 1, Episode 2. And we'll be back next week with the next episode. And thanks for checking us out. Leave us give us a follow, leave a review, do that type of thing.
Like, subscribe.
Do that good stuff. Thanks again, you guys. Bye.
Bye.